All right. Hi there. I'm Taylor of the Sheepish Goat. You're watching the channel. I have a lot of videos I could make on this channel, but today we are going to be sort of remaking a video I made almost 2 years ago. So in May of 2023, I made a video talking about depression, my depression, where I talked about identity and everything I had been struggling with in my life up to that point. And I made that video because there was so many things I was feeling inside that I never talked about. It was really the first time that I ever talked about any of those things. I was 30, I guess, when I made that video, because I'm 32. And 2 years is crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has. So we are celebrating growth, and I'm sharing what I've been through up until now. So if you watch that one and then you watch this one, hopefully you see a difference, because I feel the difference. But to that same point, I'm wearing the same everything is terrible shirt. I'm drinking out of my well shit mug. It's a throwback. So let's talk about it, shall we? I made that video. It was very difficult for me to do, and I felt so happy about doing it afterwards. And then consequently, every time I would make a video after that, I would always be looking for a way to better put myself into a video. I am an artist. I don't know if I've said that, but I am. So I make videos about art sometimes. I'll do drawings, I'll do different things, but every time I would do something like that, I felt unfulfilled. I've said it before, but it didn't feel like there was enough of me in that type of video. And I felt really conflicted because I didn't know if me making videos like this, if there was enough substance for anyone to care. It mattered to me. I felt good about doing it. But I was so worried about other people caring what I thought, about liking what I did, because I wanted to make making videos a career for myself. I love it. I really find enjoyment in doing it. And I felt insecurity about that, right? I think anybody who's done anything like this or put themselves in a situation of unknown can understand that feeling. To the point I carried on making videos. I did a bunch of different ones, but every time I did a video talking like this, being vulnerable, I felt proud of myself. And I felt like that's what I should be doing. Videos where I can tell my story and I can help other people. Maybe not directly, but I think indirectly, I think my words have more impact. And I think helping people indirectly helps me find a way to retain myself, because historically I've given too much of myself away. So let's talk about kind of me and my journey and the channel in general. So, let's say this. When I started my channel, I had quit my job. I hadn't worked for a year by the time I finally went back to work. And if you would look at my channel in any capacity, there was about like a 7-8 month stretch where I made no videos. And before I started my job, I talked about it. I said I was worried about starting a job because I was afraid that I wouldn't have the time and the energy to make these videos anymore. And the truth is, that's exactly what happened. The job I took was what I wanted it to be. It was different than my last job. It was very physical. It was working in a warehouse. It was arduous, but I hoped that I could keep up with it, but I couldn't. And I didn't have the energy and the willpower, and I felt very ashamed for being in a position where I felt like I had taken a step backwards. Financially, sure, but emotionally. Because in some capacity, starting this channel, taking a year off work, it was all to better myself, right? It was to find happiness, contentment in my life, which is a word I'm learning to like. For me, contentment in the past has very much felt like well, that doesn't sound positive. It feels like contentment has a negative connotation. I don't think it does. Not anymore. But I took that time to work on myself. And I was proud of all the work I had done. But like I said, the more I made videos about art and different things that really didn't feel like me the further I felt for myself, and I felt burnout in making videos because I realized I was making videos for other people. I wasn't doing it for myself. These were the videos that were for me, and inherently for other people as well. But I came first in those. So I was already conflicted and just didn't fully wrap my head around it. And I thought I was making progress. I was working through feelings and things from my childhood and hopes and desires, and then I went back to work. And when I went back to work, I felt really bad. I felt really bad because I felt like I'm exactly where I was before I left my last job. The job took everything from me. I didn't have time for myself. I didn't want to make a video like this because I felt ashamed. I felt like I could only, in some capacity, move forward and share a positive message. And I was very defeated, you know? I had tried to do a couple of things. I tried to get on dating apps, which didn't pan out for me, but I wasn't really letting myself try, frankly, not fully. The ways in which I did, I was very needy and wanting to be seen and wanting to be approved, just like this video. But I was doing that, and I wasn't moving authentically, and I was hoping to be chosen instead of being the one to choose. So I felt defeated, and I felt like I wasn't making progress. And all of those setbacks were the best thing that ever happened to me. Through all of that, I felt so frustrated, and I felt so stagnant, and I felt so like, man, I just can't do this. I just can't fix myself. So I decided to go to therapy. Now, thanks to my friend, she recommended an organization that I went through. It made it very easy. And it was actually all out of pocket. My work's insurance wasn't applicable to this organization. But I felt right that this was the organization, and I felt right in the therapist that I had been settled with. The therapist I chose them because when I called, they said, oh, you must be, well, I was super nervous, let's say that. I suffer from a lot of anxiety. You might be able to hear the energy in my voice. Right now it's excitement, but that can easily turn to anxiety. And when I went or finally called, I was so nervous, and I had talked to the woman on the phone, and she had me pick through a few people, but she was like, oh, so you've never been before, so you might want someone who's like this. And I was like, no. It's like, let me tell you what I want. I know exactly what I want. It's like, I want somebody who's going to challenge me. It's like, I've been trying to fix myself for forever, and I can't do it, so I need somebody who's going to call me on my shit. Yeah. So I got stuck with my current therapist, and to say I got stuck is hilarious. I really like my current therapist, and I picked her directly. I had two options, and I chose her. I'm so happy that I did. Yeah. So through therapy, I have been able to grow a lot as a person. I have been able to understand that fixing yourself isn't the goal. Fixing yourself is an implication that you are broken as a person. It's an implication that you're not good enough as you are. But you are. I am. And in every way that I felt that I was dissatisfied with my life, I found ways to find contentment. Not to live in happiness. Living through happiness is an unrealistic goal. I remember talking to my therapist and trying to figure out a way to, like, how am I supposed to be happy all the time, right? Like, we rate my depression, usually on a weekly basis, because for me, my depression was oscillating a lot up and down, especially when I started. Every week I would have very high highs or low lows, and it was never uber consistent. And I do a good job of masking, usually with humor and just holding it all within. I've done it my entire life because I'm used to making other people more comfortable than myself. Yay for codependency. And because of that, we decided to start rating my depression so that we had a realistic idea of what my day-to-day looked like and how I was managing, to see if Maybe I needed medication, or maybe I needed X, Y, and Z. And how can I just find more contentment? And I talked about the idea of how do I retain happiness, basically? How do I hold that all the time? And she was like, happiness is a feeling. It's like saying you want to be angry all the time. It's not going to happen. It's something that comes and goes. What you're looking for is a way to find contentment and ease and peace within your life. To ride the waves of depression, not to remove it from yourself entirely. Depression, in some regards, never leaves you. It's who you are. And to say that you have to remove it and to remove your trauma and your pain is not really the goal. It's to find peace. It's to find understanding for yourself, for other people, and know that it doesn't rule you. To know that you can move through your life and move beyond it. It's not a prison, as it often feels. It's not a stop. And there is no end goal. And I think that's beautiful. For so long in my life, I felt anxiety about the future. Where was I going? How would I get to the next step? And now I feel an ease to live every single day openly. And I'm excited for tomorrow, which is crazy because I never felt that way in the past. So that's really cool. And I'm really happy about that. I'd like to share presently, if it's not clear, I want to use this as a parallel to my last video to show where I am, where I've been, how I'm getting on. It's important for me to have these really honest conversations, as I said. They matter to me, and I have so many other videos I want to make, and I wanted to make a video today, and this was the one I wanted to make. I was like, I need to talk about what's been happening behind the scenes, because most of what I'm going to say today, I'm probably going to have other videos breaking down individual concepts and individual things that I have done and am trying to do. But this is kind of the overview, and I hope you find it helpful. I did, and still do, every day. But I'm going to tell you what a kind of day in my life looks like right now. So I found peace at my job. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's not really the goal. But I found ways to not let my job dictate my life. One of the things we started doing in therapy it's funny because I'm trying not to use my therapist's name out of respect. Let's call her V. Let's call her V. She wanted me to find ways to do things for myself on a day-to-day basis. I originally wanted to call them moments of hope. And she thought that was very depressing. So we called them creations of joy. And I decided to call them CJs because they sound an awful lot like BJs. And that just makes me laugh to use a term like that in therapy. And we joke about it all the time. So CJs for me ended up turning into daily ways to show up for myself. And one of those became running. I loved running as a kid, and running became really fun. Anytime I would start running, it was amazing. Now that eventually evolved, and I decided I didn't like running anymore. But the idea of running became such a happy place for me, and like the consistency and the ability to show up for myself, right? That accountability became everything. I didn't have that. I didn't have faith in myself. I didn't have the thought that I would even be able to continue running more than one day. And it happened, and I got up to running 22 minutes. And we'll talk about that in a different video. But generally for me, in the current moment, I'm able to get through my day without it taking from me, right? I figured out that I can reserve energy for my job and use it to do things for myself when I get home. I can run. I can make dinner for myself. I was terrible about that. I can go eat alone in a restaurant. I can go hiking. Every week now I go hiking. So I've been going for 3 weeks straight, a new park every single week. It's been really awesome. I love it. I love nature. Probably another video coming up. I have a gratitude journal. Every day, I write down the 5 things that I'm grateful for and elaborate on those. Sometimes they're really simple. It's my cat looking up at me when I'm laying with him on the couch, right? It's sitting outside of my porch and feeling the breeze just slowly caress my hair. It's comforting. It's beautiful. It's the simple moments that you so often take for granted, especially when you're in a place that feels so heavy and dark. But those are the moments that make life worth living. Those are the moments that feel hopeful, feel joyous, feel like you're alive. So for me, it's every day I get up and I go to work, and I don't like it, but the people I'm working with I can enjoy. I find humor. They validate my existence a little bit, which is cool. I come home and I'll make dinner for myself. Maybe it's an easy day. Maybe it's a day I actually make something elaborate. I'll decompress a little bit and watch something. I'll write in my gratitude journal. I'll make myself lunch for the morning. And then maybe I'll work on a video or a new creative idea. If it's a day I've been working, I'll meditate at lunch every single day. I do 15 to 20 minutes every single day of meditation. If it's a day where I'm off, today is a weekend, then I'll meditate today at home. I'll light incense and I'll just meditate and relax and center myself. If it's a weekend also, like I said, I'll either go hiking or I'll sit on my porch and smoke a cigar while I listen to music. Also, finding new music has been super big for me. I love music, I always have, but I didn't really realize how much I loved it. And now I'm constantly finding new music and listening to it and not feeling weird about it. I've always had a very eclectic and different music taste than a lot of people. I listen to a lot of music from different cultures, languages I can't speak, but it's not really the point. So I always felt weird about ever playing my music in front of people, and I don't feel that way anymore because I have more self-confidence and self-worth. So, yeah, I hope you can understand. I hope you can understand how simple it can be to show up for yourself. I think what I'm saying all sounds very simple, and that's because it is. It doesn't have to be work. And it's not about fixing yourself. It's about just being you and being okay with that. And it's crazy what 2 years can do. It doesn't feel like 2 years. And it's funny because so much of my growth, I thought I was growing when I was off work for a year and I was doing all this stuff. I thought I was growing. I thought I was growing when I started therapy. I thought I was growing. And then in the last 2 months, it's been like a fucking rocket ship. And it feels like every day, every week, I feel like a new person. It's a crazy feeling. It's a crazy feeling. And on top of that, I think having things to look forward to is very big. So I do want to talk about kind of what moves me forward. Friendship. I've been starting to make new friends. Actively been making friends as an adult. There will definitely be a video about that. I've been showing up for myself, like I said, which is hugely important. I've been, existing, not letting my job rule my life, being open to new opportunities, living every single day as it comes and enjoying it, not trying to control the outcome, My perfectionist brain in the past needed to know how it was going to work, wanted to know every detail, was always in control, and I'm not doing that anymore. And I feel really good about it. And the last way, which will definitely be a video at some point, is love. I think I want to touch on it without going too much because, like I said, I know I'm going to talk about this further. But I think so often, one, So often we don't love ourselves. That is a very hard thing to realize, but we don't. Or if we do, it's with the concession of someone else loving us. It's with the concession of, I love myself, but they come first. And with loving other people, yeah. With loving other people, most of the time, unless it's like family that you're born to love, it feels wrong to love someone unless you know they're going to love you back. So, coming to the idea of love just for you, regardless of what anyone else feels or thinks, but you feeling love and being okay with it, that moves me forward. Yeah, I think so. You know, I was talking to my mom the other day, and she said that my greatest strength was my vulnerability. And saying that makes me cry. And I knew I was going to talk about it for this video, so it's not like I just came up with the thought. My greatest strength is my vulnerability. I know that. I've known that. But I think to hear someone else say it, to feel seen, which is what I've been after for such a long time, feels very impactful. It doesn't matter how much you validate yourself. Getting validation from other people is still important. You're not wrong for wanting that. You're not at all. But I don't think until you show up for yourself can you truly feel happy, right? That external validation goes so far. And I'll say this much, that being honest about how you feel, about what you're going through, is incredibly difficult. Because you have to admit that you're not okay. You have to let other people see that you're not okay. But I'll tell you, in doing that, I've had some of the best conversations I've ever had in my entire life. Just being vulnerable and honest with people makes a difference. Removing fear, removing anxiety, removing doubt, worth. It's like, hey, I'm not okay. And I'm tired of feeling alone. Because when you do that, you're saying not just to yourself, you're saying to the universe, you're saying to your friends and your family, you're saying to a therapist that you don't want to be. And you don't have to be. So if there's a takeaway from this, from me, from 2 years of work, go to work. I would encourage you to be vulnerable in your life. There's nothing like feeling seen. There's nothing like being honest and removing that weight from your shoulders. Just saying what you feel. Regardless of what happens, you will feel better. You will feel more like yourself. It will lower that depression number. You'll feel love. So say what you need. Find your truth. Ask for help. Go to therapy. Enjoy your life. I'm enjoying mine. Yeah. I'm enjoying my life. So until next time, everybody. See you then. Love you.